Hi, this is the Landscape Ontario podcast. I'm Scott Barber. On this episode, I'm joined by the folks from Verdant Landscape and Design, including the father and son team, Matt and Morgan Robertson. Plus, two amazing apprentices on their staff, Barb McIntyre and Brett Masor. I wanted to find out why they all believe so strongly in the Horticulture Technician Apprenticeship Program. That is coming up. Wait for it. Are you new to the horticulture and landscape profession? Are you looking to improve your skills and build your qualifications? Or are you an employer looking to support, upskill, and retain your team? Registering for the Horticultural Technician Apprenticeship Program is an excellent way to further your career in a field you love while still earning a paycheck. As an employer, you'll benefit from your team members' new skills, increased job satisfaction, and ultimately supporting your staff retention. Apprenticeship is a combination of on-the-job training provided by your employer and in-class training at Fanshawe, Humber, or Algonquin College. Financial incentives and grants are available along the way to help cover costs for both apprentices and employers. And the best part? Landscape Ontario is here to support you at every step along the way. So what are you waiting for? Learn more, attend one of our info sessions, or register at our website, horticulturetechnician.ca. Matt and Morgan, I'm going to start with you guys and ask you if you could just tell us about your company, Verdant Landscape and Design. Could you tell us a bit about, the history of the company, where you're based, some of that background information?
Yeah, so our company, Verdant Landscape and Design, we started in July of 2018. We'd actually kind of planned on creating a company with another individual, and that fell through, which kind of left us in a lurch, which is kind of, a mid-season is not exactly when you want to start your own company, but that's where it began. We're based out of Milton. We're your standard design, build, maintenance company, so we do a lot in-house, kind of ourselves, our own design. So I do most of the designs, interlock, walls, water features, lighting, all the usual things. Our focus, however, is in garden design, garden plantings, garden maintenance, both being Niagara Parks grads. That's really our passion, is the softscaping plant side of things. But we try to incorporate kind of everything to get a nice flow and aesthetic for our clients. Our focus is definitely quality based, not price based. We have done like ICPI training. We're Techo pros, part of course, Landscape Ontario. So we're able to stay up on all these standards, all of these best practices that we're able to also take from both teaching at the apprenticeship and high school. So we both are able to stay on top of that. So our quality is able to carry forward, and we're just trying not to stay in any ruts or following things of the past, 20 years. Things change, and we'd like to change with it.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks so much, Morgan. Appreciate that that background. Of course, you guys are in Milton, just like Landscape Ontario. Although we're obviously recording this on Zoom today, but I appreciate your time. Let me ask you about apprenticeship. That's sort of why I reached out and wanted to hear a bit about your company story, a bit about the experience with apprenticeship. Can you maybe, Matt and Morgan, talk about how did the company first get involved? Why was that something that you were interested in?
Well, it started with me teaching. I've been teaching in the apprenticeship program for a long time. And when we started expanding and looking for employees, it really made sense to look for apprentices. The reason being, sometimes we have had employees that come with some bad habits with a lot of experience. Maybe I shouldn't call it bad habits, but they come with habits that don't fit with our corporate ideals. And so having somebody like Brett and Barb on board that are malleable and that we can train in best practices is amazing. And one of the benefits of being a teacher is we interact with so many students with different ideas as well. So there's also the benefit of being able to bring the ideas that Brett and Barb have into our company and help us even maintain a higher level of quality and customer service.
Yeah, exactly. And Morgan, tell us about your experience with apprenticeship.
Well, my experience was going to be, or was a little bit more unique than many other apprentices because I did mine through the Niagara Park School of Horticulture. So I was able to actually get a diploma as well as complete my apprenticeship at Niagara Park, so on the botanical gardens. So we had a lot of the class time was able to almost immediately be transcribed out into the practical portion. So I'd learn how to prune trees, and then we'd go out and prune trees. And the apprenticeship, I wanted to be able to do something like that where I could take those classroom experiences and then bring it into the job site. So that experience is not that different from the traditional apprenticeship that through Landscape Ontario, through the Mohawk College and Humber College, where you do classes in the winter, and then the next season you're able to bring that knowledge to the job site and actually incorporate that and kind of transcribe that for clients, for the boss, things like that. I just didn't really want to, I mean, I have a degree, so I kind of knew what sitting in the classroom was the whole time and learning that way. I wanted to be able to get that practical experience as well, which is why the apprenticeship made sense for me.
And Matt, can I ask you, why is, teaching and supporting the next generation of landscape professionals, why is that important to you? Why has that been such a big part of your career?
Well, I've been involved with Landscape Ontario in different capacities for a long time. One was on the landscape commodity group. And the biggest complaint there at Congress, chapter meetings, is a lack of trained staff. I enjoy teaching, and what it seems to me is it's my way of giving back to the industry as a whole, because there's a better trained workforce. And the better trained the workforce is, the better the perception of the industry is, the higher, what am I trying to say,
the overall quality,
the overall quality, the profitability climbs as well. Sometimes I feel like our industry has a pretty poor reputation in Joe Public's eye, and that when we bring on employees that are knowledgeable, well-spoken, that it says to our clients that we're worth the money. We're a valuable company to our clients. And when I help that with another company, it's not taking away from Verdant Landscaping. It's actually adding to the industry as a whole. And as what do they say? A rising tide floats all boats, and that the whole industry will improve.
Absolutely. Yeah. It raises the level of professionalism in across the industry. And I think that's, obviously why LO's, so involved with things like apprenticeship, is that very reason. So let me move over to Barb and Brett and ask you guys about what it's been like in the program, being apprentices. Maybe I'll start with Barb, if that's all right. Could you tell me, how did you get into the apprenticeship program? Why was it something that appealed to you?
Well, actually, it's somewhat of a unique story, or maybe one that you hear more of. I actually have worked in the interior design industry for the past almost 25 years. And in 2020, I lost my job in the fall. And so being a farm girl and enjoying working outside, the following summer, I was home visiting my mom on the farm, and I said, Mom, I think I'd like to go back to school for landscape design. So what ended up happening was I did return to my alma mater, Humber College, and was in the landscape technician program. And at the same time, my daughter, who was 15 and attending Notre Dame High School in Burlington, I connected with her horticulture teacher, Alan Nason. So connected with Alan, and I obviously, because I was taking the landscape program, and talking and speaking with him, he said, you know what, I really think that you should reach out, or I'm going to get you connected with my friend, Matt Robertson. So that's what happened. I did complete my semester at Humber, but I'm now moving over to the apprenticeship program. So, things happen when you talk. And so I owe a lot to Alan, and having him connect me with Matt, and of course Morgan, and just like having worked in the design industry as long as I have, it's the knowledge base that you need to be a good designer, landscaper, whatever you do. So it's been great. Matt and Morgan, they take the time to teach you, show you, when we're in the truck going between jobs, we're always pointing out different plant IDs and asking questions. So they always take the time. So, knowledge is power.
For sure. For sure. Thanks so much for sharing a bit about your story, and obviously wish you the best of luck as you continue in your path. It sounds like, so your goal, is it to get into landscape design longer term? Is that what you're hoping to pursue?
I think so. I sort of have a little motto. I like to take my interior design skills outside. So, it is somewhat different. Placing furniture, it's not going, there is less apt for it to fail, maybe over time, but very, very different to like a plant in a garden.
Sure. And Brett, would you mind telling us about a bit about your sort of path and how you came to the apprenticeship program and what you hope to, I guess, achieve longer term?
Sure. So I guess I originally started in construction work. So I was doing like home renos and eavesdrops and all that stuff. And eventually I got tired of working outside. So I went and became a game designer. So I did that for the last like 15 years. And I got tired of being inside. So I was trying to figure out how to go back outside. And I didn't want to climb ladders and around houses anymore. So I was kind of figuring out like, what can I do outside? And eventually I landed on landscaping. So I applied countless amount of places before even getting into the Landscape Ontario stuff. And a company gave me an opportunity to just cut grass. So I started with just, basic lawn maintenance. Sure. And a little bit of the gardening. And once I started doing the gardening, I was kind of like, oh, I'd like to learn a little bit more about what I'm actually doing out here. Because cutting grass was straightforward. But once I got into the gardens to start weeding and pruning and stuff, I was kind of lost. And that company that I was working for said, well, why don't you go do the Landscape Ontario, go through this process and get your red seal. And I thought, well, the opportunity is there. Why not? I wouldn't mind learning more about this. And that's how I got into the program, was through that company. And then through that, that's where I met Matt. And he was my teacher for multiple classes, and he would always answer my random questions. I just had random ideas and thoughts, and I was like, hey Matt, what about this idea? And he would sit there and take the time to like answer me back. And I was like, all right, cool. This guy knows what he's talking about. So eventually the company that I was working for that put me through the program, they sold their company. And then I just approached Matt and I was like, hey man, like, what are you up to? Do you need anyone? And we just talked for a little bit about it. And then eventually one thing led to another, where I was able to come and start working for him. And it's been a blast. Like it's like exactly what Barb said. Like we just work and learn. Like it's like working and learning. And that's exactly what I want out of the whole thing, is to learn more about what I'm touching.
Yes. We have some good conversations.
Yeah, we had some really good conversations about, and it's all about, nature and stuff. Like, how do we fix things? Because that's like where I'm at with it, is like, how do I fix stuff? How do I fix the water, or how do I fix the plants? And like, how do we get the invasives out? And just, you need to learn all this stuff about it before you can actually get in there and start fixing it. So that's kind of what has happened, more along the lines of like sparked my curiosity of, well, what do I do next? And what do I need to learn next to do the next thing? So it feels like this whole process is nonstop learning, which is a good thing. Because I always felt like in the other fields that I was a part of, it kind of like, you learned and you're done. Now just apply. This feels like I'm learning every day. There's something new every day.
And there is so much to know,
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I
think that's the misconception. I think there is a lot more knowledge that you need to have. You just don't go and plant a tree.
Yeah.
There's the right way to do it. So I think that's, especially with Matt and Morgan, they really take the time to teach us the right way to do things.
And like they do take the time to, like, if we have a question, just like, what is this product? Even the product, like when we're talking about laying down a patio stones. Like, what is this about? And like, we've had good conversations about why we're using this, why we're doing this process. And even like myself, who's done construction, there's elements of the newer stuff that they're showing me that I don't know, right? So it's like, it's a lot of give and take, and it's great. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thanks so much for sharing that, Brett. I really appreciate it. Actually, one more for Brett and Barb, both of you. What would you tell somebody that was thinking about, maybe landscaping, maybe horticulture is, something I would consider? What would you tell them about this path with apprenticeship? Would you encourage them to go that route? What would you say?
You want to go first?
I would say yes. I would say it's a very good starting ground, right? To get you going, to go learn. There's a lot of things that you learn in the program. Like, it's a little bit of everything, right, that you're learning. And then from that, once you gain that knowledge, you start working, and it's like, well, now I have this nugget. Where can I go afterwards? Like, because this field is very broad, and there's a lot of areas that you can probably become an expert in. So I look at it as like, if this is somewhere you want to start and see if this can spark something in you of more interest, then it's a good place to start and then grow from there. That's what I think. Because like, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to keep on learning now. Like,
I don't think you stop. I don't think you ever stop learning, right? No matter what. And with the apprenticeship program, for maybe young or a little bit older, it doesn't matter, because the age range goes from just out of high school to someone like myself. But again, I know for myself, and it's just knowing the right way. Like, if you really want to be good at something you do and want to pursue. Now, I think we both have somewhat of a passion as well. Enjoy working outside. It's not easy though, and I think that's one thing to remember. It's not, it's not a cakewalk. You're not just the classes. There's a lot to know. So you have to, there's science. It's a lot of science. Like, went back to grade 10 math, science. And I think that's the ultimate misconception there. It's not just going out and cutting grass. And especially like with Verdant, and they do more than that. And especially like we love working in the gardens and so on. But for somebody wanting to get into this, they have to know it's a lot of work, and you want to be prepared mentally, physically. It's a lot of physical labor as well. But I think hands-on is definitely, especially for myself, I enjoy working, like learning hands-on. That's how I learn. And again, just stopping and asking a question is great. But no, for sure, if it's something that you want to pursue, just be prepared. It is a lot of work, but you're going to come out knowing so much more and knowing the right way. And whenever you're talking to a client, or just somebody, it's they develop that trust to be like, oh, they know what they're talking about. So this makes it a lot easier, and I want to work with them because they know what they're talking about, or just knowing that they're going to find out. Because if we don't know, you can always like message Matt, or we're like, what is this, and they're ready, willing, and able to help. So I think it's so go ahead.
I was gonna say that is one thing he was like, you are right. Like, when I first started, I knew nothing about plants, and even talking to a client like that would just come up and say hi and be like, what is this? I go, I have no clue. I'll get back to you. And I would be honest, like, I don't know what this is. But like now, if someone comes up and talks, like after doing the program and like working with Matt, it's like, I have a better idea of what this thing is. Sure, I might be more wrong, but at least I'm saying the right words. But I've learned it, and I'm learning more about it, But that's like where like going through the program is actually like gives you a little bit more confidence when dealing with clients or even your own bosses. Like it just helps.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, yeah, I think what I'm hearing is, if the passion is there, it's a great route. It's a great route to build a career in landscaping and horticulture. Let me go back to Matt and Morgan, and sort of a similar question. What would you tell another employer that says, we haven't really had staff as apprentices, we're not really sure. What would you say from the employer side would be a reason to consider it?
I'll start.
Sure.
From teaching for so long, what I heard from employers and employees is the challenges of dealing with the government ministry in registering and everything like that. Landscape Ontario, the staff there has taken all of the guesswork out. It's a cakewalk for people as an employer, to sign up employees. They help so much. So that's number one, is it's really easy. Two, you get up a better person at the end of the training season, first and second level. That somebody better comes back. And the last one is from I shouldn't be talking. Morgan's got the commerce degree, but the tax credits. It's almost a no-brainer to bring on apprentices as opposed to just a laborer.
Yeah, I think to add on to that a little bit is you heard from Brett and Barb, but the confidence that it instills in your employees. You have both a better trained employee, someone who kind of has a better idea of what's going on. They may be more comfortable talking to clients. So your internal promotion is a lot easier. You don't necessarily have to reach out and looking for a foreman or a site supervisor or crew lead or whatever that job title is called at this company. You bring on the laborer that you had last season, who now is trained, who's able to talk to these clients, who's able to lead and train other people internally. And you're able to just kind of grow people through the company. From a practical standpoint, that leads to a higher satisfaction of employees and a longer staying employee. They're more likely to stay if they see growth within a company. They're not just going to be the laborer that hauls wheelbarrows or lays stone the whole time. They can see themselves doing other positions within the company itself. And I think that's pretty powerful.
There's something else that comes back to me. Terry Murphy, who used to be with Landscape Ontario forever, he has a saying that echoes in my mind, and it's the only thing worse than training an employee and having them leave is not training them and having them stay.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. So it's, maybe an investment of some time, although, as you say, with, a lot of the investments LO has made with their apprenticeship team, hopefully, that it sounds like that part of it is smoother than ever in terms of, paperwork and things like that. You have support from your industry association, Landscape Ontario, to help with that. So really, it's, as you said, a no-brainer in terms of it's easy to do. You get that, you get, you're getting employees that are growing, getting better, getting more confident. And then there's the financial part of it in terms of support, the tax credit stuff that you mentioned. So yeah, really kind of a no-brainer. Is there anything else, I guess, I'll just put it out there to the whole group, anything else you want to say about apprenticeship, or have we covered most of the bases?
I think we've covered everything well from my end. I feel so strongly that it's a great way for a person who's interested in landscaping or horticulture to get a very cheap education. And as Brett was talking about, it's such a broad education. They may decide to branch out into arboriculture or irrigation or something else, and then they can specialize from there.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate everybody taking the time here, midsummer. I'm sure, lots going on in terms of work. So I really appreciate the whole group here taking the time. It's been really nice to talk to you all and to meet you. And thank you for sharing your experiences with our audience.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, we hope you'll consider sharing it with colleagues or your staff team. Also, consider subscribing on your favorite podcast app to get new episodes each month. Thank you.